It's about 4 minutes past the hour, going into the final hour of the Truck and Bozo Show. Tim Ridley in for Dale Summers, Sirius XM 106. Ritchie, something you mentioned earlier, I was thinking about, I've been thinking about it ever since you mentioned it, about the Google search you did. And so are you serious? There's that many lawyers waiting to represent people?
You would think it's a very easy Google search. Here's what I want to find out, Tim. I want to find out what the percentage of people in New York who take taxi cabs are, and I want to know of those people how many were in accidents. Easy enough, right?
Yeah.
I fire off this Google search. Tim, no lie, every single one of them were for law firms who were looking to sue taxi drivers in these ambulance chaser incidences. Yeah, you want to hear one? I got one.
Yeah, let me hear it.
All right.
According to a recent study done by Shala Consulting, more than 241 million people rode a New York City yellow cab.
Well, hold on 1 second, because you know what? This is my first time hearing that too. Were you just listening to that?
Yeah, I heard it.
999.
Hold on.
According to a recent study done by Shala Consulting, more than 241 million people rode in New York City yellow cabs in 2005.
Did he just say
200? Yeah, he did say that.
In 1 year, 2005, this guy's claiming 205 million people rode in cabs?
Think about this. What's the population of New York City?
I'll take it one step further. There's 300 million people in the whole country. What?
Yeah.
Listen, I know New York gets crowded, but what, 200 million of them were here in 2005? I mean, come on.
I think that was slightly inflated, don't you?
Yeah, let's hear what else this boob has to say. Hold on.
Accounting for 172 million taxi trips, or 470,000 trips per day.
Now, listen to that.
400,000 trips a day? Listen, right. I know this guy wants to make a buck. You know, he's an ambulance chaser. You can hear it in his voice. But where's the lawyer that I could sue this guy for these crappy statistics? You want to talk about an accident, Tim? There's an accident in this guy's stuff. 300 million people took cabs yesterday in New York.
Yeah. And not to mention the amount of trips, right?
More people were injured in taxi cabs yesterday than in the entire Gulf War combined.
This guy, those numbers are inflated. And then he has the audacity to say that in a commercial spot.
Yeah. 300 million people took cabs in New York City. 500 million of them, like the numbers don't even make sense. 500 million were killed last year.
Wow. Maybe somebody ought to ask him, where did you get your numbers?
Let's see what else he's got.
Considering the large number of consumers in New York City that use taxis, it's no surprise that accidents do happen frequently.
Accidents in my attic!
Taxi cab accidents involving cars, pedestrians, bicyclists, and other objects occur approximately 11 times a day on the streets of New York City.
Every 9 minutes there's an accident in New York City.
11 times a day.
Every half an hour, 5 guys get struck by a cab and are killed in New York City.
And how many of that makes the news?
None of it. If it was, the news would be 2 hours long.
Yeah, it would be enough time.
It's far higher than that of regular cars, because few people in taxi cabs wear seatbelts. Here are some additional taxi cab statistics.
Here you go.
As reported in the New York City Taxi Cab Fact Book.
AKA the book I wrote.
For a 12-month period. Taxi cab crashes occurred at a much higher frequency in Manhattan as compared to the other 4 boroughs, including...
Yeah, because they don't go to the other boroughs. I dare you to try to get a cab and tell them you're going to the Bronx, see how far he takes you.
He'd probably take you right to the edge and drop you off if he takes you that far, huh?
Of 300 million people who rode cabs in 2005, none of them were dispatched to the Bronx. Absolutely
so you mean
none.
I was right there in Manhattan, so I was in that much danger. Well, I kind of figured I was by the way they were driving, but I could have been a stat, huh?
Of 500 million people in New York City taking cabs, none of them were named Ridley.
Hey, I'll need to get his number. That way I can put it in my phone just in case I need it. You never know. Hey, the numbers might be right,
I got $300 million in business in 2002.
Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, and Staten Island. 538 pedestrians were injured and 4 killed in crashes involving taxicabs. 282 bicyclists were injured in crashes.
I think he's just kind of picking numbers out of a hat at this point.
I think that's what he's doing, too. So, yeah, boy, he's really blowing it out of proportion, I think.
You have a better shot of being killed by a taxi cab driver than you do a serial killer.
There are so many different dangers in New York City, isn't it? I mean, what can you do to be safe?
And cabs are the #1 reason for fatalities in New York City.
Yeah, forget about the people who try to mug you. You got to watch out for the cabbies.
Cabbies kill 200,000 Americans a day.
Richie, I don't know where you find these attorneys at.
I was trying to find statistics for you.
Involving taxicabs, and 11.5% of rear seat passengers involved in crashes sustained injuries such as fractures, concussions, internal injuries, bleeding, burns, contusions, and abrasions.
I think he made half those injuries up.
Yeah, I think so. This guy's really trying to get some business, isn't he?
Driving in a New York City taxi cab causes cancer. 500,000 Americans got cancer last year from the New York City cab system.
Thanks for looking that up for me.
No problem.
Now I have some numbers in my head. I appreciate that, buddy. Count on Richie. I appreciate it, man.
Anytime.
It's 11 and a half minutes past it. As a matter of fact, we were talking about going out to dinner next time I'm up there. So in other words, it's going to be a lot safer to maybe, I don't know if you have a bicycle. If you have an extra one, it may be safer to ride the bicycles over to Harlem to Sylvia's than to take a taxi.
It's safer to walk through Harlem wrapped in $50 bills than it is to get in a New York City cab.
I think I'll take my chances like that as opposed to the cabs from the way he was talking. All right, let's go back to the phone lines.